Check, check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okie dokie, gonna get started. Lower the music a little bit. And hello. Hi friends, how are you? How's it going? Having a little bit of a slow start today. But welcome back to Attack the Pantry. I am Jenn de Vega. This stream is a deep dive into ingredients, cooking techniques, and recipes to help you cook for yourself during the quarantine and, you know, the rest of your adult life. Last time on Attack the Pantry, we talked about how to make fast food hash browns, and we played food detective by trying to figure out what exactly was in the kale bone from Soul Veg in Atlanta, Georgia. Can you hear me very well? I just want to make sure that the sound is working and that I have everything plugged into the right place. Hi, Lucius. Okay, cool. Got it. Thank you. Oh, I have a hard-boiled egg here. Let me just take that off for a second. So, if you want to watch all the past clips and check out what we talked about last week here on my channel, you can click on videos. The entire archive is also located at youtube.com/JENNDLV, and you can make sure to subscribe there. I'm a Twitch affiliate. If you have Amazon Prime, you can gift a subscription to your favorite creators every month. So if you have one, click the purple button above the video here that says gift a sub, and you'll get a little crown next to your name, like Lucius does in the chat. Lots of really good links below. One way to help me out is to share some of them or tell folks to join us when you're watching the stream. The more the merrier. And I always love answering cooking questions. You know, it's my thing. It's totally my thing. I started skating again, which is really exciting. So I have new videos up on the YouTube channel. Skating days 43 and 44 are about a new/old skateboard I rescued from my old apartment. I've been skating a lot every day because we're going to get 4 days of rain in New York City starting tomorrow, and I wanted to get my exercise in before I became a lump for the winter. We have a new Float City episode on the way. We are stopping in another town and hanging out for a minute. So you can look for that on funcity.ventures or on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts, either on this Friday or on Monday. This week on Patreon, I have a new recipe out today for chicken and corn soup. It's a very nostalgic dish for me. My grandpa took us to a Szechuan restaurant growing up, and I would always order the chicken and corn soup, no matter what. I also shared the long recipe for my mother's pancit, which is a rice noodle dish. And there's also a recipe for steamed buttered eggs. Also on Patreon, you'll find a replay of my breakfast Q&A with The Tank, which, by the way, they reached their $25,000 goal last week. Good job, everybody. Happy to see that arts in New York City are alive and well. We have a Netflix party coming up on Thursday, January 7th at 8 p.m. We haven't decided what we're going to watch yet, but I'll put up a poll on my Patreon tomorrow, so I'll happily take your suggestions of food shows and movies to watch together. Hey, Justice, thanks for coming in. What's up? What else is happening in my world? So if any of that stuff isn't possible for you and you want to tip me for good advice, this is my social media, Venmo, and PayPal identity, which is Randwiches. Or you can tell a friend to subscribe here or on my Instagram. Those are free and nice things you can do to help your fellow Twitch creator friend, who is me. Let's check out what everybody made this week. It was really exciting to see a ton of people submit photos, so this is really fun. I'm so excited. This is Connor's Christmas bread pudding with cinnamon, sugar, and rum. I just want to like stick my spoon into the screen, don't you? It looks so yummy and caramelized on top. Lovely, lovely. Good job, Connor. This is Dylan's Christmas dinner, which is charred pork loin, kale, potatoes, and some garlic bread. Lots of Christmas dinner photos in this batch. Martin shared this photo from St. Simon's, Georgia, which is feeding or harassing alligators is a violation of state and federal law. He's missing the stream right now because he is on his way back to California on a plane. So, thanks for sending that in. Hello, Schmas. Violation of law, but a demonstration of culture, yes. It's a great sign. What else have we got? This is Vance's pork roast for Christmas dinner. It looks gorgeous. Look at that crust on it. And then in context of his whole dinner, here is the whole spread. So they've pulled the pork and they have the big shards of skin on the left. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can enlarge this for us. Like, check out those plates of skin there on the left. And we've got yuca, sweet potato, big biscuits, Brussels sprouts. I don't know what that, I think that's rice. And then a big chocolate cake. This looks like so much fun. Wow, Vance. Impressive. Very, very impressive. This is Triss's T-bone steak that he wanted to show off from Christmas dinner. I love it. He said that he would have cooked it a little bit more, like another minute, but I think it looks great on the outside so far. I'm not afraid of a little char. This is Lucius's second attempt at pancit. We cooked this together during the Museum of Food and Drink event. where I taught everybody how to make this. But this time around, Lucius has left some of the vegetables crispier in this batch. So I kind of prefer them crispy at the end as well. So looks really good. Like, you got the good noodles, the rice vermicelli. Vera shared this photo of garlicky eggplant after I had a whole Twitter thread about how we should popularize crispy eggplant on fast food menus. But you can see the garlicky crust there on that right piece. That looks really good. Really, really good. I just love how many people were cooking this week. Okay, Justice, I had to do your whole tweet here, because this is a summary of last week's lesson when we were talking about how to make fast food style hash browns, or crispy AF. Take the starch out, put the starch in, that's how you tater, according to me. Tell us about this breakfast. It looks amazing, like a really big plate of food. I'm gonna try to stretch it out here. So you've got this, what kind of bacon is this? It's like really thick and lovely. Yeah. Couple of fried eggs, bacon, biscuit, and hash, your usual breakfast. Damn, dude. I need to stock up. Actually, I'm getting a shipment of Nuesqui's bacon, which is thick cut. Thick cut. Looks awesome. So the hash brown trick worked here, right? Like when you drained out the excess starch and then added more. Wait, what? Gochujang on the eggs? Oh yeah. Yeah. So you put cornstarch after cheeseclothing the heck out of it. Awesome. Glad it worked. I still haven't attempted it yet. I haven't had a chance to go to the store. But I'm going to try to do, like, the shape, like the McDonald's shape. And also, more from Justice, this is the severals that are very cool looking. At first, they look like tamales, right? And with dal and some mango. I ate so many mangoes when I was a kid. Like, so many mangoes. Like, I would make myself sick. Like, take a look at those severals. So you're saying that striation is not a tamale shape, it's noodle. Is that right? Cool. Yeah, it's vermicelli. Well, since a lot of us have vermicelli in our pantries from the Pancit event, now you can try severals. Like, I'm really excited to try it. And then dal with tons of cilantro, is that? Or is it Italian parsley? And a big-ass bay leaf. Yeah, cilantro, what's up? So to relay to everyone who's watching this later, it's mashed potato, chili, spices, breadcrumbs, mashed up, coated in the flour slurry, pasta. Oh yeah, add the vermicelli and then fry it. That sounds phenomenal. Amazing. Take a look at that. They really look like tamales, but but lovely and crispy. Okay. And then here from a new contender. This is from Zach. This is Handmade fettuccine al limone, which is it sounds like alimony. But it's handmade pasta with a zesty lemon sauce. This looks so simple and nice and sounds like something I should make soon. Has anyone ever had this particular lemon sauce on pasta? I know, this is a very professional twirl. If you don't know how to get a perfect pasta twirl, you get a big fork and you twist it, in the bowl, and then slide a spoon, like a larger spoon or a ladle under it, and then transfer that to the plate, and then you can like lay it and then pull the fork out and you'll get that really pretty twirl. It's like you're eating the pasta, but just on a giant scale. Awesome. So those are all the photos that people submitted this week. If you want to be featured in this part of the stream next time, you can either tag me on your feed photos on Instagram, you can tag me in your photos on Twitter, or you can DM them to me if you don't feel like publicly posting them on Twitter. But yeah, it can be food that you've been cooking. It can be interesting things you see at the market. It can be unique tools that you have at home that maybe other people don't know about and that we should talk about. So yeah, or food memes, you know, or alligator signs. Don't harass the alligators. So don't forget, next time, if you want to be featured on the stream, please send me your photos. You just called it the omnicarb, the severals. That is perfect. That Infinity Gauntlet meme you shared with me earlier, someone else, my friend JV, had like the best name for it, which was the Infinicarb instead of the carbohydrate gauntlet. Okay, what was I up to this week? Where am I? I'm here. Last night for dinner I had lumpia, which is the Filipino egg roll. I made them vegan this time around, and they have pea shoots, cabbage, onion, garlic, green bean, and celery leaves inside. And then next to them I have some Korean barbecue flavored dumplings that I had made for a dumpling party a couple weeks ago. So I've had them in the freezer, and I was like, you know, since I'm frying the lumpia, why not fry some of my dumplings? And they turned out so crispy and wonderful. Yeah, that was my dinner last night. And then I have a bed, you can't really see it, but I had a bed of shredded cabbage and more cilantro and more celery underneath as like a little palate cleanser, because everything is so oily. I needed something fresh and zesty to balance it. It was dressed with only just like half a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. And that's a trick if you're ever going to make slaw or cabbage-based salads. All you need really is a half tablespoon to a tablespoon of an acid, and that will be just fine to dress slaw. And the rest is just texture and balancing flavors. So like adding nuts or seeds or sesame seeds. And that is a super simple palate cleanser if you're eating a lot of fried food. What else is happening? Okay, so that was the lumpia and dumplings. I made this North African stew because I was trying to get rid of butternut squash. So I was trying to look for like atypical butternut squash recipes, because I get really bored with just roasting it or making it into a puree or having just sage and butternut squash soup or whatever iteration or risotto. I just needed another flavor profile, and this North African stew really delivered because it uses a warm spice mix that I've never used before called baharat, and that is lots of paprika, cardamom, allspice, clove, a little bit of cinnamon, and I feel like there's one more thing that I'm forgetting, but if you look it up, it's quite wonderful. I highly recommend it. And you can see that I've roasted some of the butternut squash seeds on top with that spice. And so I've just been snacking on the seeds by themselves. They're very irresistible. But I did a few swaps, as you do in this recipe. It's usually another kind of bean. I forget what the original bean was, but I use soybeans because I have tons of them in my pantry, and I didn't really use a chicken broth. I used ribs or whatever else was in my freezer and I was trying to use up. I made like a pork broth with it, and then on top I finished it with some Calabrian chili peppers, which are fermented and delicious if you've never had Calabrian chili peppers. Yeah, check it out. North African stew in the New York Times. Okay, that's centered weird. This was my salad from lunch today. It is cabbage, celery leaf, cilantro, peanuts, and then I have a bacon chili oil recipe in my cookbook if you have the copy of it. and I added like a tablespoon of mustard and then like a half tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, and that was just my lunch. It was very crunchy. I'm a huge fan of crunchy. Aren't you? Okay, so I had a sleepover for Christmas with my girl pod, my friends Sarah and Emily. We celebrate a lot of our birthdays and Thanksgiving and Christmas together. And so Emily handmade marshmallows. It was this whole square pan of marshmallows, and we could cut them to whatever size we wanted. And instead of graham crackers, she made saltine cracker toffee, which is saltine toffee, like crunchy toffee, and then dipped in chocolate. And then, so I would toast my marshmallow, which I made this big, by the way, and then put it on this thing, and it would melt the chocolate, and then it would just shove it in my mouth, and it was so good. You didn't really need a second plate of it, because the one was just so flavorful. But this was a really fun Christmas thing to do, because my friend Sarah has a fire pit outside. So we were in our Christmas dresses and winter coats and roasting marshmallows, and it was very cute. I'm gonna sneeze, or I think I might sneeze. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry, it's like Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse when I sneeze. I'm like, ah! Anyway, that's a toffee s'more. Delicious. The next morning, Sarah made sesame za'atar bagels for our brunch. I ate 2 of them. Oh my gosh. These were so crunchy on the outside and soft in the middle. Like, highly recommend making your own bagels. Ooh, one of your players made you a ton of homemade honey marshmallows. You need to use them, and those look great. Yeah. I'm a fan of having marshmallows around the house. I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but when I want some, I go all in, you know. The most. These are some crispy eggplant fries that I made for another recipe. But I'm going to share this on Patreon next week, and I couldn't stop baby Yoda-ing these. Like, they were for something else, but I kept snacking on them, and I was like, hop. You know? I was like, hop. But they are delicious and can take on a variety of sauces and flavor profiles. So I'll be sharing the base recipe for this next week. But crispy eggplant, let's make that a little bit more popular. I would like someone else to fry them at a fast food place for me. This was, I didn't do this in order, but this was our Christmas brunch. So Sarah made the bagel. You can see the bagel. Next to it is some labna with Emily's pickled jalapeno. Sarah made merguez lamb sausage hummus. Like, so she made regular hummus, and then she put the lamb sausage on top, and it was like, you took a big piece of pita, and you could grab a sausage bit and then drag it in the hummus, and it was incredible. Of course, there's olives, and then there's this sweet potato and beet dip with crushed pistachio on top. And then we did like a beef chorizo hash, you can see on the right, and then it has lots of egg mixed into it. Reminds me of the corned beef that I grew up with, except mine came from a can. And then this tiny little red splotchy bit, like, looks pretty small and insignificant on the plate, but oh my god, brought everything together. It is a tomato jam that just, you could dip it on anything, you spread it on anything. We also had it with our cheesy grits the day before that. So, tomato jam, highly recommend for your brunch plate. Yum, yum. Ah. Uh-oh. My stream kind of blacked out for a second. I think I'm back. I don't know. How is it in the chat? Is Twitch having issues right now? Just want to check. It might just be my internet too. No, I'm connected to the 5G. I'll just pause for a second until I can see the chat again. It has like this connecting to chat swirly. It's like connecting. It might just be Twitch. I'm gonna reset it and see what happened. Well, I can see me, but the chat is not loading for some reason. How rude. Okay, looks like chat is back on for me. Is it working? Check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test it. Oh, I can't send a chat. That's weird. I think maybe my computer is just mad. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if my computer was mad at me. I'm just gonna close more things and see if that helps. Hello, I test it? No, I guess chat is not working for me, so I can't see what you're saying to me at all. I'll try. I've reloaded one more time. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Oh, there you go. I can see. So the last message I saw was at 5:23, and it says, Justice says, oh man, homemade bagels are the best. So I'm gonna say test. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so my chat went through. Great. Looks like we're back. Well, let me know if anything is happening on your end, because I had a weird chat disabled thing, but it seems to be working now. Okay, continuing on. What else did I do this week? I made calamansi sugar cookies on the Rude Tales of Magic stream last week with Allie and Carly and Joe. I like it when they let me crash. Oh look, I have dough on my head. I'm gonna try to strategically like place photos so that they're on top of my head when I talk. Hello there, welcome to my stream. We're talking about food. Okay, what else is happening? Oh, this is my Christmas Eve dinner. This is lechon kawali, which is Filipino pork belly that has been salt cured and then deep fried. It is bacon to the max because it is like this thick. And I have it on a bed of pea shoots and garlic and green bean, and then I had off to the side a vinegar garlic dip called sausawan. I've shared that recipe many times, but if you need it again, let me know and I will happily share it with you. But that was Christmas Eve dinner and it was very crunchy. You sensing a pattern? I like really crunchy things. What else happened? This is my lumpia that I rolled for Christmas dinner. We did all Filipino food for Christmas dinner. So these are the vegan egg rolls that I was telling you about that have pea shoot, cabbage, green bean, celery leaf, carrot. It is a labor of love, but I always make like 4 times more than what I'm going to eat and then freeze the rest or give them to people. So I can just, you know, fry them one at a time if I really need to. This is the pancit that I made for Christmas dinner. I have so many different versions, but this one is chicken and mushroom. And then on top we put all the cabbage, the cilantro, and crispy garlic so that it can be mixed in later. I didn't want it to get soggy, so underneath that huge mountain of fried garlic is rice noodle, carrots, green bean, chicken, oyster sauce, calamansi, an onion, and more garlic, because you can never have too much garlic, at my house at least. In the corner here, I made some tortang talong, which is eggplant omelet, And then my friend Sarah said, do you want to use some Aleppo pepper on top? And I was like, yes. So Aleppo pepper is pretty mild, but a nice spice. And so it went really well with the egg and the eggplant. So you should try that pairing sometime. And this is a reminder, if you're not a subscriber to my Patreon, we have a teleparty or Netflix party coming up on January 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are going to decide via poll tomorrow on Patreon what food, show, or movie we're going to watch together. So if you're new to teleparty or Netflix party, they had to change their name because Netflix told them they couldn't have Netflix in their name. Basically, you have to have a Netflix account. And I start a chat room, basically, and I'll share the link in my Patreon post, and we get to watch things together. It's just basically a watch party, and we can chat and, like, talk about all the foods in the show or the movie, and if we want to eat those things, or if we ever would, or, like, it's really fun. It's been like a little crew of us consistently watching over the last 4 or 5 months, and so I hope you'll join. And if Patreon is not possible for you, just DM me on Twitter or Instagram, and this is my username. And finally, I'm trying to clean. Oh, not finally. This is two more things. I'm trying to clean out my Etsy store. If you don't know this, that I started a dry goods store on Etsy to clear out my my catering inventory. So at the beginning of the year, I was supposed to cater like 8 weddings. And so I have all of this equipment and all of these like dry goods and spices, but all of my events had to be canceled or moved. And I'm just sitting on a bunch of like really lovely ingredients. And so I started packaging them and putting them on the Etsy store. And so I'm going to have a year-end sale until January 8th. So you can use this code BUY2020 to get a 25% off of 2 items or more. And they're really affordable items. So like a wine kit is only $1.50, and it's all the spices that you need to make mulled wine, or like 2 or 3 batches of mulled wine. What else I have on there? There's tapioca, there's rye berries, which are from the Union Square Farmers Market, which are really, really lovely as like a rice substitute, or you can grind them up, however you like to use them. I actually have the box right here. Whoops. Oh, it's too heavy for one hand. Okay. I forgot that I was like working on this. I have a lot of seasoned salt, so there's like a fish rub that's for, you know, marinating fish. We got lemongrass salt. We got let's see, where is it? I also have lemongrass salt and the lemongrass rub. The rub is a little bit more concentrated and less salt, obviously. This is meant for outsides of roasts or like chicken. The salt is more of a finishing item. And then here, look at these tiny tapioca. And then I'm gonna, you know, if you buy anything from the store, I'll put in little samples of things that you didn't order, like this goth furikake. And then I have the last sample of mole verde salt, and then a last sample of Roux. So it's a really fun thing I'm trying to do, trying to clean out the inventory. So that's on sale until January 8th. Hooray! And finally, I learned a lot about YouTube from my friend Emily, who is a growing makeup influencer. I don't know much about makeup, but she taught me a few things about YouTube, and so I started backfilling the thumbnails on my YouTube channel. So I have like 40 skate videos where I'm trying to learn how to skateboard during the pandemic, and so I have this like new look, you know, that I'm trying to do. This is the latest video that is not out yet. Learning to skate, day 47. Pick it up, pick it up. So that's what I've been up to. Tell me, how was your holiday, everyone? Did you celebrate? Did you order food? Did you cook? Like, let me know what you did for the holidays. Would love to hear it. Oh, no worries. That's great you're running a game. I hope that you write scenes where people can eat. Those are my favorite favorite scenes, obviously. I'm gonna put an egg on me. I feel poached today. There's a poached egg. I'm hoping that I get enough Patreon subscribers that we can do another round of eggs. So we did the fried egg before, like I'll show you. Some of you already have this, but I'd love to do a run of the poached egg. And then we'll do the whole series from Drip, which is the omelet and the hard-boiled egg. The omelet. Okay. Anyway, I feel poached today. How about you? How are you feeling today? Would love to hear it. So coming up next, I will happily answer quick cooking questions from you. If you have anything that is related to New Year's that you're curious about, or if you're going to embark on a new eating practice. I don't like using the word diet because I think it's really negative. But if you are going to try to eat more of something else or like change something about the way you've been eating, I will happily answer any questions you have about New Year's eating. But let's go to a question that my brother had first. My brother had a question. So this is a text message I got from my brother. Is there a demiglace concentrate that I use or recommend? You don't want to have to make it fresh every time. Chicken or beef doesn't matter. And I told him my recommendation. But this brings me to a really interesting question. What is demiglace? Do you know in the chat what demiglace is? Oh, my Twitch crashed again. That's so weird. Anyway, I guess I can't see chat right now. But if you don't know what demiglace is, let me tell you. So it means half glaze. It's a rich brown sauce in French cuisine, and it's used by itself or sometimes as a base for the mother sauces. What are the French mother sauces, you ask? Those are hollandaise, velouté, bechamel, espangole, and tomate. I'm sure the French people pronounce that last one differently, but I like to pronounce it like it's Spanish because it sounds better. I mean, espangole and tomate. Why not? So demiglace comes from the French word for glace, which is it's like referencing sauce. It means icing or glaze. It's traditionally made by combining 1 part espagnole sauce and 1 part brown stock. What the hell is espagnole sauce? Okay. The basic method of making espagnole is to prepare a very dark brown roux and then add brown stock. So brown stock is generally roasted bones of meats and aromatics. It's not necessarily any one animal. It's usually just using up stuff that you have laying around. So it can be from ribs, pork ribs, it can be chicken bones, it can be beef bones, as long as it's like a browned sort of browned situation, you know? So like fish bones are not considered for brown stock or brown sauce. You know what I mean? So there are many layers to this. So demiglace is made from sauce espagnole, which needs a roux. So what is a roux? A roux is a thickener. Generally, it is 1-to-1 ratio of butter and flour cooked until the flour toasts into a spectrum from kind of an off-white to dark brown. So the off-white will generally be for your Alfredo sauces, for your bechamel, for your mac and cheese sauces, and then when you go down toward the dark, toasty brown and red situation, that is more for gumbo, jambalaya, things that are gonna need that deep, richer, like toasty situation. And so sauce espagnole, what we're making here in this theoretical kitchen of my mind, uses a very dark brown roux. And when you're making roux in general as a thickener, the most effective color on the spectrum, or the lighter it is, the more thickening agent will be employed. So the darker it is, the less effective it is as a thickener. but you can still just make more roux to thicken the thing. I think it's because we are breaking down the flour so much that it's losing some of that bonds, the chemical bonds. But the roux discussion is for another time. I just wanted to explain what a roux was, so that you could make sauce espagnole, and then you need sauce espagnole to make the demiglace. So starting over, to make a demiglace, you need a basic brown stock, and then you make the sauce espagnole. So sauce espagnole is the very dark roux added to the brown stock. So we're making a gravy basically. And then to make the rest of the sauce espagnole, it's pieces of beef, vegetables, brown sugar, and then different seasonings depending on what book you're reading. But usually it's like parsley, thyme, rosemary-ish, like the Thanksgiving-y kind of vibe. And then that blend is then just kept on low heat, and you skim it and skim it and skim it until it's super smooth and there are no floaties on the top. And I think in traditional French cuisine, they use veal stock to finish, or tomato paste and pureed tomato, and then you strain all of that. So it's a very complicated recipe. So that's sauce espagnole, and then you add that to more brown stock to make the demiglace. So demiglace is reduced gravy stuff that can be kept for about 6 months in the fridge or almost indefinitely when it's frozen. So a lot of people like to use it as like a starter. Like you get a spoon of it and all you need to do is add some more broth and then you have like a perfect pan gravy. But because it takes so long and a lot of effort to make demiglace, it's pretty common to have like either a semi demiglace. This was popularized by Julia Child, that explains why it's a little silly, which is like halfway preparation and then freezing the sauce espagnole and then finishing it whenever you need it. But the reason why my brother texted at all was what kind of concentrate can I buy? What is available? So my answer, this is my answer. My favorite brand is D'Artagnan. They're famous for selling ducks and cured meats. And they do a good job of just making really classic French products. So my brother asked, like, what's the shelf life? It's 6 to 8 months. And I've since fact-checked that, and it's 6 months in the fridge, indefinitely in the freezer. So it's a concentrate, has lots of fat and salt in it. And what else about it? So D'Artagnan is like the demi-glace tub, but if you can't afford that or can't find it, the brand Knorr, Knorr, they're pretty famous for making powdered bouillon. They also have powdered demi-glace that you just need to add water to. So that has a lot more salt in it, but has crazy long shelf life because it's a dry product and you don't have to refrigerate it. So depending on what you need it for, that's where you can get your demi-glace commercially, or you can go through the whole process and look up Julia Child's recipe to make sauce espagnole and then continue on your demi-glace journey. I think I've only ever made it once, and it was in culinary school. I think it's because it's just so labor intensive. I don't want to commit to it. Maybe one day I'll do that. Does anyone have any cooking questions or New Year's questions or resolutions or any changes you're going to make to your diet? Let me know in the chat, or I'm going to try to reload the chat right now. I'm sorry that I can't see any of your messages right now. This kind of defeats the purpose of... Oh, here we are. Okay, catching up. Oh my gosh, Twitch I didn't see any of these come in. So Justice used to make a nice beef demi-glace at your restaurant, but you're excited to learn more. Oh, great. Yes, this is why larger restaurants have sauciers. That's why there's a dedicated person to making all the sauces at the restaurant. This is a fun fact. My father was a saucier at an Italian restaurant. And he has opinions about tomato sauce. Okay, Stan Luna 420 asks, what is your opinion on air fryers? So, over Thanksgiving, I actually got to use one for the first time. It was in a house rental that in the kitchen, and we were so excited. We were driving up there, and my friend Kate was like, ooh, I want to do crispy Brussels sprouts in the air fryer. And, you know, we were like, cool, it's going to be so fast. And this is just one experience. I haven't, like, in depth, like, played with one yet. Because, you know, I don't think I can make a conclusion just on one experience with the air fryer. But we were in the thick of finishing all of the Thanksgiving dishes. I was carving the roast, I was finishing the gravy, and Kate was like, great, it's only going to take me like 10 minutes to do these Brussels sprouts. And so she put it in the air fryer, and it was taking really long. You don't have to use oil on it, which is nice, but like the Brussels sprouts sort of wilted after she removed them. So what you typically need to do is when you're using an air fryer is you're making the food and then serve it immediately. But in our case, she had like 3 batches of these Brussels sprouts that she wanted to finish. But while, you know, one was cooking, the other one was wilting. So if you're doing lots of different dishes in the with the air fryer, it's not conducive for that unless you've got a really big one. The one we were dealing with was only like this big, so we had to do batches. So in the end, for us in this particular case, the oven would have been more energy efficient and faster to just do 1 sheet pan of the Brussels sprouts instead of 3 in the air fryer. Yeah, they are. Yes, Nick, you are right. Air fryers are more like convection ovens than a fryer because it has a circulating fan on the inside. It is definitely a misnomer. I haven't researched enough about it to know more, but that was just my one experience with it. So thank you, Stan, for that question. I think I want to look into it more. But I haven't received one for Christmas. Actually, what I got for Christmas was a juicer, and the first thing I juiced was Chinese celery, which was partially a mistake because I love juicing regular celery. I used to have a juicer in my old apartment like 5 years ago, and then that roommate moved out, and I couldn't have any more juice until this year when my mom got me a juicer for Christmas. Thank you, Mom. But I didn't realize that Chinese celery is like a lot more bitter and concentrated. So I've had to dilute this celery juice because it's like drinking an Amaro. Yeah, I've made a little bit of a mistake. You know, a little bit of a mistake. Okay, Shmas has a question. New Year's you want to make a porchetta, but the only pork belly you can get a hold of had the skin removed. What the hell? What the hell? What monster removed the skin from your pork belly? That is so rude. Well, you can still make a porchetta if you've got the long slab. You can still roll it, right? If it's thin enough that you can still roll it. So, I don't know how big of a fan you are of... Oh, the monster is Costco. I believe it. They removed the skin from my jamon. Because the skin is on a jamon leg, the skin is what preserves it. And so if you remove the skin from a jamon or a prosciutto, the shelf life goes down exponentially. Like, how dare? Yes, how dare? And what? Good question, Justice. What are they using the skin for? Like, why did they remove it? Rude as hell. You know what I'm guessing? Somebody there who's working at Costco is hoarding the skin for their own personal use to make chicharron at home. Okay, but for your question, you still want to make a porchetta. You can still do it. You just won't have that crackle skin, but you still can get some crispy edges on the fat. So, yes, you should let it dry out uncovered in the fridge. But before you do that, you kind of need to help release the fat. So depending on how you want to present the thing, you can either do little stabs like a centimeter apart along the whole thing. I know that's going to be a lot of work. So you can do centimeter stabs around the whole roast on the fat side, or you can do cross hatching. I like to do the diagonals because when it starts to render the fat and it curls up in the oven, the cross hatchings create kind of a gutter for all the fat to flow, and then so as hot fat is coming down on a slow scope during the baking process, that fat is just like also like a deep fryer, like in tiny gutters. It's just keep frying the edges as it leaks down into the pan. So yeah, when you get to the drying stage, make sure that there is air circulation above and below the porchetta. So if you have like a rack, and if you don't have a rack, try making little twisties of foil so that you can make like a little bit of a tiny tic-tac-toe under your roast in the fridge so that you get air under and over, because you don't want to just have it on one side. So you need to make sure that the fat can escape while it's cooking, otherwise it will be rubbery. So make sure you do some scoring or the cross hatching one way or another, and then make sure when you dry it that it has air circulation above and below. Yeah? So let me know how that goes. I want to see. Yeah, they're definitely siphoning chitlins at the top there at Costco. How rude, how rude. Yeah, Shmaz, I'm excited to see you do that. It's gonna be really fun. What are you gonna put in the middle? I had to do, no, he sent me an ugly pic. I don't care. I just want to just see. And then, you know, if it goes wrong, let me know, and then I can try to try to investigate, food detective my way around it. But when I made it for a cookbook over the summer, we stuffed blood rice with garlic, like pork blood rice in the middle. So it's kind of like a morcilla, like a Spanish blood sausage, but with rice on the inside. Oh, cool. You're going to stuff your porchetta with rosemary, garlic, wine, orange, and salt and pepper. That sounds so good. I wish you luck over the next couple days. Yeah. Totally. Let me catch up here. If I could have a self-cleaning, self-maintaining piece of restaurant hardware in my home kitchen, what would it be? It would be a deep fryer. It would be a deep fryer. But these don't exist. Like, a self-cleaning, self-maintaining deep fryer does not exist. Like, I would love for this robot to be invented where, kind of like a kitty litter box, it would skim the hot oil every time I've used it and then auto cool down after I'm done. Because I would love to make hush puppies on demand. I would love to make funnel cakes on demand, you know, like donut, like lumpia. But yeah, just deep frying just takes so much effort. I tend to do a lot of deep frying over the course of a week. If I have one dish that needs to be deep fried, I'm like, well, the oil's here. And then, you know, I have to take care of my skin, like... like, I have to triage my skin after that because I just start breaking out and like, oh dear. And then sometimes I'll get like an oil burn on my face. Like, I've had like cute oil freckles before from splatter when it gets too hot. Even I make mistakes in the kitchen, so yeek. But yeah, I would love a self-cleaning, self-maintaining deep fryer. How about everybody else? Like, if you had a self-cleaning, self-maintaining appliance in your home, what would it be? Another comment here from Justice. We do Friendsgiving at a restaurant with a salamander over the grill and never wanted something so bad. Hell yeah, I would love a salamander. For everyone who has never worked in a restaurant, a salamander is an always-on broiler. So it has this handle where you know, if you have like a I don't know, like a creme brulee or a artichoke dip or something like that has cheese on the top that you want to like crisp up. You put it on the lower rack, and then when you're ready to fire or ready to send it out, you crank it just to go up one level, and it goes right up to the fire, and you only need to put it there for like 30 seconds to a minute. Then you can just pull it down and then pull the food out. So salamander is dreams. I've only ever gotten to work with maybe 3 or 4 times with a salamander, but I love them. Yeah, totally. Let's see, I'm trying to catch up here in the chat. Yeah, you would eat nothing but crispy Brussels sprouts. I'm a huge fan of crispy Brussels sprouts. There's this recipe from a Brooklyn restaurant here called the Vanderbilt that does really good Brussels sprouts. They tell you to take off more of the leaves so that you get more of the like crispy bits. Yeah, purposely making Brussels sprout chips, which are delicious, delicious, delicious. Yeah, Schmoss would have the deep fryer and salamander, supreme choices. Agreed, agreed. Let me see if I can find that. Vanderbilt Brussels sprouts recipe. Honey sriracha. Here you go. I'll give that to you in the chat. It's good. It's good. Real good. Does anyone else have any smaller cooking questions? I will happily tackle bigger ones next stream, which will be, oh my god, the first stream of 2021. Oh, that's another thing. I'm going to try to have guests on this show starting next year, so look forward to that. We have more people to answer the questions and talk to us about the food and the appliances in their kitchens. Oh yeah, you would love a huge flat top too. Just a tone of type of surface area to work with. Yeah. I have a cast iron plancha, which is the cast iron grill. It's 2-sided from what brand is it? Lodge. So Lodge sells, the cast iron company sells a 2-sided plancha. So it has a flat side, so you could do pancakes, you could do anything that requires flat hot surface. And then the other side is a grill top, so I could do barbecue or skewers inside as long as I turn on the vents and open the windows. Seriously, let me live in a Waffle House. Huge plancha is a dream. I would one day love to have like the regular like 3-foot plancha, so I could pretend that I'm a Waffle House short order cook. Have I ever told you guys that that's sort of my dream, is that I've always wanted to stage, or like stage is the fancy word for like interning at a restaurant, a high-end restaurant, but I want to stage at Waffle House. Like I want to see if I have what it takes to be an organized short order cook. Because like in fancy brigade style restaurants, there's one person that has a specialty in sauce. There's one person who only does the cold food. There's the executive chef. There's the, everybody has like a designated like militaristic type job in a fancy restaurant. But at Waffle House, the short order cook has to do all of it. Yeah. Waffle House work is the world's 3rd oldest profession. I agree. You can work there forever. Yes. I want to know if I have what it takes to be a short order cook. Because I know that I can do pop-ups where it's like small menu and stuff, but if it's like a really big menu and you have this gigantic mise en place, which is like hash browns, eggs, bacon, like blah, blah, blah. There are like really funny, cool systems that Waffle House has to like keep the order straight. Because a lot of it's verbal, and so the chef needs to have like a little, signals to acknowledge and to... I haven't seen the diagram, but I know the menu, like the chunked and peppered and smothered. I know the mechanics of it, but also I was watching, when I was in Florida one time, I was watching the Waffle House person like make all the food and receive the orders like verbally. And so what he does, or what they do, excuse me, is when someone orders like hash browns, they take a little bit of the frozen one and put it on the plate. Yeah, the plate code, exactly. Or if it's an egg, they put the raw egg on the plate so they know that coming down the line there's going to be an egg order. So it's really fascinating, and I want to try it one day. It'd be a fun, like, reality segment. Can Jenn cut it at Waffle House? Look, man, I've got the burns to prove it. Does anyone have any other questions, cooking questions? I know, I would love to see if any of the celebrity chefs could hack it. You know, as much as I love Ina Garten, I don't think that she could hack it. Tyler Florence, maybe. Justin Warner, definitely. I don't know, who would be on your fantasy, what's it called? Short order cook roster. Like, you know, Ina would not be at a fast food. She would be at, like, a Marie Callender's. You know, like, homey. Pot pies stuff. Yeah, the Bourdain segment at Waffle House. Yes, yes, yes. Agreed. Agreed. Miss him. Miss him very, very much. All right, friends, let's jump to... I'm going to put another egg on me, actually. Let's jump to our other segment, which is where we pretend we're on Chopped. I think a lot of you have already done this with me before. But if you're new to this stream, we like to pretend for like 10 minutes that we're on the show Chopped. And if you don't know what that show is, 4 chefs go into this kitchen, they open a mystery basket of 4 ingredients, and then they have to make a meal out of it. So in the chat, if you can suggest 3 or 4, or an ingredient each person, excuse me, if we can come up with 3 or 4 ingredients that are in this chopped basket, we can play a mental game of it. And the purpose is to exercise our brains, push the limits of what is possible with those ingredients, and maybe inspire us for dinner or a future meal. But it's a really fun game to play. I like to do it. It's a good exercise. It makes me think critically about food. But yeah, so start listing some ingredients in the chat, and I will helpfully try to explain each ingredient as best I can, and then we can try to mash up, you know, 1 or 2 of them, or try to mash up all 3 or all 4. There's no pressure. Pretend you have all the time in the world in this chopped kitchen and a basic pantry. Okay, well, I'll start. Let's go with celery juice. Yeah, our Chinese celery. There you go. Okay, Chinese celery. Strawberry preserves. Thank you, Schwaz. Thank you, Nick. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 more if anybody has a suggestion of ingredients you want to put in our chopped basket. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. I can't wait. Ooh. Applesauce. Thank you, Stan Luna, 420. I like saying your full username. Any excuse to say 420, right? Jalapenos. That's great. That's 4. That's our basket. So we have Chinese celery, strawberry preserves, applesauce, and jalapenos in this basket. How would you make a meal out of these 4 ingredients? You can go ahead and spout off in the chat how you would combine 2, 3, or all 4. No pressure. Yes, you're welcome. No pressure. Pretend that you have, you know, a basic supply kitchen, you know, eggs, flour, sugar, salt, spices, some proteins, but we really want to feature the things in the basket. I'm going to try to go through each of these ingredients while you think about it, or tell me, you know, any mashups that you think of right away. Like, just, you know, just whatever comes out in your first thought, best thought, you know? So Chinese celery, I've learned, is when you juice it, a little bitter, which is fine. We need bitterness sometimes to balance things out. So juicing it ends up a little bitter, but it has this very beautiful chlorophyll green. So I could foresee cocktails, obviously, with this. I could see gelatin We could even do spherification, which is making pearls or jellies out of this. Chinese celery is also thinner stalks, like as thin as my finger, with lots more leaves. So the leaves actually are more of the star of the show in Chinese celery. Actually, I've got it here. Let me just show you. Where'd I put it? Okay, so Chinese celery. I mean, lots of celery at the store also has the leaves on it, but you can see that it's like a whole bag. So this had like 4 stalks of celery, and then all of that was greens. So I've been using these in salads. You can eat them fresh. They're very big. We could treat this as a parsley, but it has, you know, a little bit of a celery aftertaste. We could fry them to frizzle them to get them crisp. You can pound it or shred it in a food processor to make a pesto or a chimichurri or a chermoula. So any of the pesto-like sauces we can do. Just switch in the celery, but just know that the flavor profile is quite strong. So I wouldn't do a 1-to-1 substitute of celery to parsley. I would probably do half the amount with celery leaves that you would normally use basil or parsley or something like that. So yeah, think about how you would use the fresh leaves of the Chinese celery. I mean, Chinese celery is, you know, it's structured a lot like normal celery. It's just like super thin. So you could definitely like pull them. You can see here that I can pull the stalks apart like that. Okay, so that's Chinese celery. That's what I know about Chinese celery. Strawberry preserves. That is jarred usually, you know. Okay, we've got a first thought here. Chinese celery is a common stir-fry ingredient. Yes, true. We could do that, and then the jalapenos could be great with maybe some pork and garlic, and then both applesauce and strawberry preserves to make like a sweet and sticky sauce to balance the bitterness of the celery. Boom! We're going Chinese direction. I love that. Really cool thought. Oh, we got Justice here. It's celery and jalapeno sorbet. Oh, sweetened with the applesauce with strawberry preserves on top. Wow. These are both like knockout ideas already. Wow. Damn, y'all are good. Y'all are great. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. So strawberry preserves, great as is. Or we can dilute it with a variety of things. So with water, we'll just make a basic strawberry sauce. If we dilute it with alcohol or wine, we've got more of something that can be flambéed. And then going in the other direction, we can actually dry it out a little bit more by cooking it down and making it more of a membrillo or a paste. We would probably have to add a little bit of agar-agar or some kind of gelatin to make it solid and sliceable. So we could do, you know, deep fried strawberry preserves in like little sticks, you know? They'd be jelly-ish. Or if we didn't use thickener, we could stuff donuts with them, you know, that kind of thing. You can make a simple syrup out of them by diluting it to a 1-to-1 ratio with water and then straining it. What else? We can make strawberry soda. I can make strawberry milk. I can make all sorts of drinks with it. Oh, later, schmas. Yeah. Catch you next time. Good luck with your porchetta. Happy New Year to you. Yeah, strawberry preserves. We could thin it out onto a dehydrator sheet and make fruit roll-ups. I think it would probably need a little bit of a fortifying ingredient, like the applesauce, to have a little bit more cell structure. So yeah, we could do fruit roll-ups, basically, with the strawberry preserves and the applesauce. Okay, applesauce. It's already processed. It's already cooked down. So we could use it in so many different ways. Applesauce is a great egg substitute in baked goods. So we could definitely try to make a bread of some sort. But where would we get the flour? We just get bread. Like, yeah, we could use applesauce, flour. Maybe, ooh, what if we dehydrated the jalapenos and made a flour out of the jalapenos? Spicy ass bread. Applesauce has a variety of, I don't know, I've never really seen so much innovation with applesauce. Like, I've added brandy to it and cinnamon to make applesauce. But I don't know, besides the egg substitute thing, I don't really know much about how other people use applesauce. I mean, I love eating applesauce with pierogies and sour cream. Those go really well together. Oh, you do brownies with applesauce in them. See, look. That's cool. We could do that. Yum. Yum, yum. That sounds good. Jalapenos, could do lots of things with jalapenos. We can serve them fresh, in rings, or dice, or ground. We can deep fry them like jalapeno poppers. So what if we did like a celery stuffed jalapeno popper with a strawberry dip or something like that? What else with jalapenos? We could dehydrate them, make a powder, a spicy powder. We can make a salsa. Ooh, strawberry preserves, jalapeno salsa. That sounds actually pretty good. I would eat that. I would actually eat a spicy jalapeno chocolate truffle with like a lava like strawberry preserve like center. Yo, that sounds fun. Yeah, so if you have any ideas on how you would mash up 2 ingredients or 3 or 4, we always welcome them in the chat. It's just creative exercise. It's no pressure. There's no consequences if you don't. But it's just fun. At least for me, it's fun. Yeah, I also love jalapenos in my sweets. Yeah, that's just pepper spray. Yeah. Okay, so does anyone else have any other ideas how you combine Chinese celery, strawberry preserves, applesauce, and jalapenos? I mean, we had 2 great ideas off the bat. It's okay. We can also keep thinking about it until next stream, and if you think of something, you can always tell me next time. It's no worries. Woo! Alright, can you believe that it's almost the end of the year? Oh my gosh. Literally one more day. And we can throw 2020 in the trash. Well, actually, I wouldn't really throw 2020 in the trash. I actually got some really, really good news today. Like, really, really good news. I signed my next cookbook contract. So I'm not writing the next book. It's that my job usually is I'm a recipe tester. So for those of you who've been watching since the summer, thank you very much. If you've been watching since the summer, I was testing someone else's book, and I just wrapped 2 weeks ago on that book, and then just today I signed and already got my first deposit payment to do this book. So like I'm ending the year on a really positive note. Doesn't make up for all the turmoil and death, but I'm going into 2021 feeling pretty good. So thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. All of this streaming and talking about food constantly like really helps me day to day in my work. So it's kind of like exercise, right? It's like doing mental push-ups all the time. So you being here in this stream like really helps me practice every day and remember things that I don't remember, like there's a vast swath of food knowledge that I've absorbed somewhere in there, and it's really great to bring it out and talk about it all the time. So thank you for being here and helping me grow in that way. And because of just all the practice and just top of mind food stuff, it's just been so nice to land a big project right at the beginning of 2021. So thank you everybody. It's been really cool. And just so you know what it is, my friend Nicole Taylor, she writes for the New York Times a lot, and she wrote a book called The Up South Cookbook, which is a mashup of her Southern upbringing and then living in New York. But she's actually just moved down back to Athens, Georgia, to work on this book. And so this book is going to be called Watermelon and Redbird. It's going to be about Juneteenth and the foods that celebrate Black culture in the South. So I'm very, very excited to make all this food. There is a parade chapter, let me tell you. I am so excited for parade chapter. Oh, really? I didn't know this about you, Justice. Wow, you worked short order for almost 10 years, but you never really liked to cook until the last few months. Well, goodness, I'm glad that you have unlocked this part of your brain. I know how that is. If you've done something for so long, you kind of don't want to come home to, like, do that again. So I get it. I totally get it. No, Lucius, I have not made the black-eyed pea stew. I kind of was thinking I should for extra boost of good luck on the new year, but my plan tomorrow, actually, is I ordered... I don't really have a lot of money to spend, but I splurged on one thing, and it was Jell-O shots from my friend's company, Solid Wiggles. It's very beautiful. Actually, I'll send the website to you here. Solid Wiggles. It's very fancy Jell-O shots. And the person who delivered it to me, I was really mad at first because it was like early in the morning and they were like knocking on my door and like ringing the doorbell. Usually people just leave things in my foyer, but he like was knocking and I was like, oh my god. And so I opened the door and he sang at me. He was like, Solid Wiggles. And I was like, oh my god, not mad at you anymore. But if you click on the link, you'll see that they're super fancy flowers inside of the Jell-O shots. And so the story behind this place is my friend Jack Schramm, who was a in-house bartender for Pernod Ricard, which is a really big French brand. He was the head bartender at one of my favorite bars. It was called Existing Conditions, and due to the pandemic, they decided to close. So my favorite bar closed, and I was just devastated. And, a couple months later, Jack is like, I've got these Jell-O shots. And so they're really popular on Instagram. There have been articles about them on Punch and a few other places. But, yeah, they're a little pricey. But if you've never been to Existing Conditions, you wouldn't really understand. But Jack is, like, one of the best bartenders ever. And he's, like, under 30, I think. And the reason why I liked that place so much and really connected with him is because he sort of approaches alcohol the same way that I approach food. Like, there's an infinite amount of information. There are different ways that things fit together in cocktails and in non-alcoholic drinks and just science. So I believed that, he's definitely kindred in that industry in drinks. And so if you've ever wanted to meet the male version of me in cocktails, his name is Jack Schramm. Here, wait. Schramm Plate is his, I believe. Let me see. Let me just double check this for you. I just want to make sure it's correct. Okay, yeah. Here's his Instagram if you want to follow Jack. He's so cool, and he knows so much about drinks in general, if you ever want to ask questions. Maybe I'll have him as a guest sometime. But yeah, that's my New Year's plan, is to do these fancy Jell-O shots or get a bunch of wings. And that's kind of it. Like, I'm gonna make sure my house is clean, that I have a couple dollars in my wallet when midnight strikes. Those are just some of the traditions my family has, like making sure you start on a clean slate, so clean your house. Making sure you have a little bit of money in your wallet ensures that you're gonna keep having money Just these tiny things. I asked a few people on Twitter, like, what do you do when the new year comes around or when it strikes midnight? My friend Petra had the cutest idea. She says, we actually jump at midnight to grow a little taller. And I'm like, girl, we're over 30. We're not going to grow anymore. But it's nice to hope, right? My aunt, when midnight strikes, she gets a pot and a wooden spoon and bangs it in every room of the house to drive out the evil spirits. Some families like to throw change, like loose change, into the middle of the room, and then everyone puts a little change in every corner so that we're surrounded by wealth. I don't know. My culture is very obsessed with wealth because there's been a lot of inequality, and you know. Your mom's family does Diwali, but your dad's family shoots guns at midnight. What? Oh, man. I would have a lot of feelings about that. I get it. I mean, if you are out in the middle of nowhere and not in a city, then yeah, totally. I agree with you. But yeah, New Year's is a time of reflection, time of change, and, you know, all that. So I'm ready to leave 2020 behind. I think with my big bit of good news today, like I'm ready to move on. Like I think 2020 is gonna be a bit better. I mean, I know like in general it's gonna be bad for a while still, but I'm still like optimistic. I'm just ready to leave all the bad feelings behind, aren't you? Anyway, with that, I'm gonna take off for the new year, and friends, I will see you in 2021. Please make sure to keep taking photos of the food you make or your celebrations. I'd love to share them here on the stream. If you have any questions, please hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. Happy to answer your questions, your cooking questions, over the next week. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out, and Happy New Year, y'all. Happy 2021. Boom. Let's do it.